If a Mount Rushmore were ever constructed of West Coast hip-hop icons, DJ Quik's face and signature braids would have to be etched in stone. With a career that spans almost a quarter century, Quik's prolific catalog is criminally underrated. He's not only an above-par MC, but an excellent beatmaker as well, with production credits for the likes of Tupac, Jay-Z, Snoop, Tony, and other legends.
My secret to making hits is just do something that ain't nobody ever done before, but make it sound like something that's always been there forever.
In this episode, we will be ranking the 9 official studio albums from Compton's native son, not including his collaborative works Blackout with Corrupt, Rosecrans with Problem, or the Lost Tapes from the Death Row Sessions EP. The channel is growing, but hit that sub and like button to help us out. Let's get to it. Number 9, The Book of David. Now, don't get it misconstrued. Just because this 2011 drop made it to the bottom of our list does not make this a bad piece. It's just after listening to Quik's discography from front to back, then back to front, we'd have to suggest a new listener check out something else before diving into this. In a radio interview a year before this album's release, Quik himself said he's done every breakbeat and drum pattern one could do, so we can't expect that this one man can consistently reinvent the wheel. At this stage in his career, Quik had already cemented his status in the game. On the best song, Killer Dope, he raps, "I'm too mature for the job I got and too young for the one I want," over triumphant yet somber horns. Aging as a rapper is hard, and the OGs are still trying to figure it out. Luckily, he has enough perspective to at least verbalize he's one of the greatest on the third verse of the same track and throughout the album. Other dope songs here are the bar-heavy intro, Fire and Brimstone, the hilarious disses to his sister who got him briefly incarcerated, and former friends on Ghetto Rendezvous, and of course the fabulous single Nobody featuring a hilarious verse from Sugar Free. We appreciate Ice Cube and Quik finally linking on Boogie to Your Conk, but we feel as if this collab came almost a decade late since both are past their prime. That applies to Busy Bone too, who appears on 2 tracks here, Babylon and Across the Map with Bun B. Even though both his verses are fire, these are not the songs we imagine from 2 artists that we cherish. For one, on Babylon, Quik makes his first bad beat in his 20-year career, and Across the Map lacks total direction. Quik has the talent and charisma to convince us to buy in, but the Book of David doesn't capture us as it should. Number 8, The Midnight Life. Biggie once said, "Only make moves when your heart's in it." On Puffin' the Dragon from this 2014 album, Quik says he's, quote, "not as passionate about it," meaning rap, "but I hit it now and then." That sentiment bleeds through not only the Book of David, but The Midnight Life as well. However, DJ Quik's last official album has enough highlights that make us look forward to any potential releases he would drop in the future. This 9th album in a career that spans more than some hip-hop heads' lifetime has some heat. Pet Sematary is on point, That Nigga's Crazy is dope, and the aforementioned Puffin' the Dragon is too. On this album, Quik tries to join the trends of modern hip-hop with his old-school sensibilities, and it works on some ventures, like the lo-fi dance song Back That Shit Up featuring youngins Tay-F III and David Blake II. Does that name sound familiar? Yep, that's Quik's son, and Junior actually inherited a little bit of his old man's mic skills. He appears on 4 of the 16 tracks and does alright, though Pops eats him up on the trap-tinged track Shine. The collab that should have happened already finally does with the Bossy Conduct featuring Mac 10, and that's a W. Moreover, Quik proves he can still talk nasty as well as he did as a jit on Fuck All Night. Nevertheless, you get the impression Quik has mentally checked out from rap when the standout cuts are the instrument-only Bacon's Groove featuring longtime guest guitarist Funkster, the R&B ballad Why'd You Have to Lie with Dungeon Family alum Joy, where Quik doesn't rap, and the band jam session, which is Quik's Groove 9. If Quik were ever to decide to do a live instrument-only album, we'd surely check it out. It would most certainly be better than whatever Andre 3000 is doing with the flute. Number 7, Way Too Funky. Clout chasing is defined as in any activity where one seeks to gain attention, usually by outlandish, unprovoked comments or acts against those more famous. To younger hip-hop fans, this might be seen as a new phenomenon, but one of the earliest and most egregious examples of this was Tim Dog's song Fuck Compton. During the explosion of Los Angeles rap in the early 90s, thanks mostly to the success of Ice-T, Snoop, Dre, and Quik, many budding East Coast MCs felt overlooked by the masses. So out of nowhere in 1991 comes Bronx rapper Tim Dog kicking down buildings with his malicious, unwarranted diss song / single Fuck Compton. Some have credited Tim Dog with firing the first shot in the perceived East Coast-West Coast war. However, the rhymes he was kicking were quite bootylicious, and hoping to get hype by hating backfired because now Tim Dog has become a footnote in hip-hop history, a name derided in lyrics from rappers we still admire, one of those being DJ Quik. Quik. On his second album, Way Too Funky, he dubs himself the Bronx Killer and dedicates the third verse of the title track to dismantling Tim MUT's credibility in a quick fashion, pun intended. This will be important for later in this review, but DJ Quik has a very particular way of dissing his ops that set him apart. The matter-of-fact tone and delivery of his rebukes are so ice-cold it stings. So when he exposes Tim Dog for getting pressed at ATL's Jack the Ripper event for only doing Fuck Compton for a bag, it's a second-round KO. But the Pyru has some perspective, and immediately following Way Too Funky comes one of the most profound songs in the DJ's crates, just like Compton. Over a live blues guitar riff, violin strings, vinyl scratches, and Christmas bells, Quik tells the story of traveling across the country as a rap star and being taken aback by the influence LA gangbanging has made on America's hoods. From Oakland, St. Louis, Denver to San Antonio, Quik is met by brothers set tripping over streets they never stomped on. This 4-verse epic is deep enough for a dissertation. It has relentless replay value because of how you interpret it can change your takeaway. Is this a lamentation or a celebration of Compton's cultural impact? Play this after Ice Cube's summer vacation and it gets a different spin. Regardless, you're probably wondering why we're not talking about other tracks on here. Well, there's not much else to harp on. It very much sounds like an album of its era and doesn't resonate across time as much as its debut. Sure, there are some jams on here like the Manish Mo Pussy, the Gangsta Groove When You're a G featuring Playa Ham, and the banging Braggadocio opener America's Most Complete Artist. But the album loses points on the poor patois on Me Wanna Rip Your Girl, and DJ Quik allowing white rapper JFN to drop multiple N-bombs on the final song, Nigga Still Trippin'. No, just no, bro. This album peaked at number 10 on Billboard, was certified gold, and was hailed by contemporary critics, but it has since rightly been overshadowed by another 1992 release from a Compton rapper producer debuting with more innovative sounds and subject matter. For anyone who disagrees, you're not alone, because apparently this is Chris Rock's favorite DJ Quik album. Number 6, Under the Influence. If you watch a couple of interviews with DJ Quik, he often shouts out the artists that inspired him, like Curtis Mayfield, Donny Hathaway, and Frankie Beverly and Maze. But no other artist is brought up more than Roger Troutman, the musical innovator who put the talk box to work before T-Pain knew what autotune was. Roger Troutman, most known in hip-hop for being on the chorus of California Love and his band Zapp being heavily sampled, was a collaborator with Quik during the mid to late 90s, and his 1999 Death to Gun Violence had a deep effect on Quik. The loss of Roger, rapper Mossberg, and homie Top Dog, all by the start of his second decade of making records, caused him to be numb, uninspired, and driven to drown in alcohol. So when we look at the cover of his 6th album, Under the Influence, and see Quik pass out on the floor, it's as if he's telling the audience that he's just tired of it all. That's probably why on this 2002 release, we hear the usually always in control DJ cede ground to let others lift. He has always had feature-heavy albums, but up until this point, not this many. Literally on the first song, The Proem, Quik doesn't spit a bar. High C, Talib Kweli, and Shaheem handle it all. It's cool, but not what we came for. On every album in his catalog, Quik produced every song. He only relinquishes control once in his career on track number 4 to the one and only Dr. Dre for Put It On Me. Not a bad idea, because this sultry slapper is a hit and shows that the Doc has always had the Midas touch that has earned him elevated status. He also lets Sugar Free take the entire song, get the money, but no complaints there either, because we appreciate short spurts of free. Pause. There are quite a few gems on here. Trouble featuring AMG is hard. Come Tonight is one of his best. Get Loaded is perfect for pre-gaming, and Gina Statutory is as fun as its message is important. Tracks that get the most replay here though are One on One with its slow syncopated groove and catchy chorus, and the salacious Sex Crime. With that said, there are some cuts here that are less palatable, like 50 Ways where Quik rehashes Eminem's Murder Murder, beat, flow and all, as well as Birds and Bees, where the topic of sex has been visited more interestingly by him on previous projects. The album didn't do very well commercially, probably because not much promotion could have been done for it since this was Quik's first release on an indie label, not Arista or Profile Records. Critics gave it their flowers though. Before we get to the top 5, we have to acknowledge Quik's production credits. During a recent show at Los Angeles' 40th K-Day celebration, Quik took some time out his set to play some hits he's had a hand in. Of course, we all know Jay-Z's Justify My Thug and Tupac's Hearts of Men, but in the clip posted on TMZ, Quik is seen revealing he had a part in 2 of America's Most Wanted, Ambitions as a Rider, King Kunta, YG's My Nigga, and 50 Cents If I Can. Now these records are widely associated with Dr. Dre, Dash Dillinger, and DJ Mustard, peers of his who undoubtedly collaborate with him. Plus, Quik says that he does a lot of engineering and mixing for others for no credit. But what's your favorite DJ Quik produced record for others? And who do you think would win in that versus battle between Dre and Quik? It might be closer than you think. All that cross-pollination might get a little tricky though. Number 5, balance and option. The dangerous thing about ranking Quik's albums is that when you reach the 5th, 2000's Balance and Options, is that it is adamantly adored by the stands, and the first half is a vibe that a stone couldn't withstand. Even the current king of Compton, Kendrick Lamar, included this record on his list of 25 favorite albums comprised by Complex.
It's not just a West Coast sound with Quik, you know, it's experimental as well. You know, he's a genius when it comes to exploring new sounds, man, and sonically, you know, he's mastered just as well as Dre have.
On track 8, How Come?, Quik raps, "If the West be a movie, then this be the soundtrack." And he's damn right. The best of from here sounds like they could pervade the atmosphere of any Cali barbecue. We don't mean to roast, but play changed the game. Did y'all feel that? We came to play, pitch in on a party, or Rogers Groove? And tell us you don't visualize khaki suits, Chuck Taylor 6'4s, and crip walking. The G-Funk that permeated his earlier work is replaced by an updated sound that relies more heavily on deep bass lines that drive the groove, heavy piano chords, and subdued snares, and claps, an evolution that works. This more minimalistic music is matched with a laissez-faire lyrical delivery with more emphasis placed on flow precision and fitting in the pocket. The best example of this on the Carnal Do I Love Her featuring Sugar Free, where Quik almost whispers his rap over a beat brewing a quiet storm. It's dope, brimming with bravado, and Sugar Free naturally brings the bluster. Other great features are Eric Sermon on You Ain't Fresh, Shock G, rest in peace, on Do What You Want, Raphael Sadiq on The Hook for Well, and James DeBarge gets a whole track to himself, The Divorce, that makes you wish Quik produced his album. There are great things to glean from this group of songs, and fans aren't wrong to put this toward the top, but Quik himself said that he wasn't giving it his all on this album because he was tired of the music biz. He also admits to suffering from alcoholism briefly during the recording due to losing his friend and protege Mossberg to gun violence. Proof of the malaise that probably overtook him is reflected in the quieter tone of voice and the decision to cover Eazy-E's Easier Said Than Done rather than concoct something new. The skits and interludes are also senseless and should have been snipped. This album has yet to earn a plaque, but that's fine because it's platinum in the streets, and somebody assuredly will swear in the comments that this not being number 1 or 2 is blasphemy. Number 4, Quik is the name. Born the youngest of 10 children in 1970 Compton, California, David Blake earned the name DJ Quik for his ability on the turntables to swiftly blend records, sometimes 3 at a time. That Louisiana blood he inherited from his mother's side flowed strongly in his veins because while other kids spent their allowance on candy and games, Quik invested that money into records and instruments he became self-taught on. Coming of age in the notorious Compton streets was no easy feat, however. As a youngin', Quik joined the Treetop Pyrules, a street crew that reps red. When his family fell on hard times in Cali and relocated to Louisiana, Quik instead chose to cling to Compton rather than move to the boot. Years of vagabondry, bouncing from couch to couch and house to house, paid off when he clicked up with bubbling rappers Tweed Cadillac and Playa Ham, members of the duo Penthouse Players clique. Filling the role of father figure that Quik's biological one failed to do, the 2 older cats took the musical prodigy under their wing as their in-house producer. While under the Penthouse Players apprenticeship, the 17-year-old released his first mixtape, the hardcore Red Tape, which he sold straight out of the trunk. The grind and street reception led to a deal in 1990 with one of the first major rap labels, Profile Records. This made Quik colleagues with Run DMC, Rob Bass, and Special Ed. He released his dynamic debut, Quik is the Name, at the top of 91, and the rest is a wrap. For an album dropped so early in the history of hip-hop, Quik is the Name stands up very well to the test of time. A testament to his ability to make timeless music after years of tutelage, mastering instruments, and listening to the greats. Before Warren G would coin the phrase G-Funk, Quik was helping to craft the essence of the West Coast's preeminent sound with the beats he made. While his contemporaries like NWA rapped lyrics that can be construed as massage noir, the album opens with Sweet Black Pussy, an exercise in the type of radical black love that would make bell hooks blush. Then comes the grooving single Tonight, a subdued synthy bop that celebrates a good night out on the town. It's a dope song, yet its unfortunate Billboard Billboard's Hot 100's 49th position is the highest peak Quik singles have seen considering all the gems in his catalog. Other dope cuts on this LP are the anthemic Born and Raised in Compton, the bombastic title track, and the funky gangster's fairy tale Loked Out Hood. This album has gone to be certified platinum and held by many music publications as one of the best tapes out of the West Coast at the time. Coming out a year and some change before Dre's seminal Chronic will make the claim, even though this is unsubstantiated by any first-hand sources, that the doc picked up a thing or two from Quik's first release. Number 3. Trauma. After tragedy comes triumph. Following years of wallowing in grief, Quik emerges reinvigorated on 2005's Trauma, his 7th full-length LP. The music is different. He spits on the fiery Till Jesus Comes before hailing this new generation and lauding himself. Not enough props can be given to Quik for navigating so many eras of hip-hop while maintaining his originality, all the while embracing new trends. On this mid-2000s release, we finally have Quik branching further out of his usually closed Cali circle to bring artists like Wyclef, T.I., Ludacris, and shit, why not, Chingy to the Compton Cookout. Some might view this album as Quik trying to go mainstream, but let's nip that in the bud. The sound isn't watered down, and this is his debut release on his own independent Mad Science label. So how's that going, Pop? On every verse, Quik sounds as raw and fresh as he did on his debut. Trauma has some of his most airtight rapping. See the second verse shoutouts on California featuring AMG, the sneak disses and discernment on Catch 22, and of course the rapid fire snapping on the opener intro for Roger. On the underappreciated YouTube podcast, The Smoke Box with Cypress Hill's frontman, Be Real told Quik straight up that his verse on Fandango brought out the best in him, and we would agree. The song is fire and both step correct. The late great Nate Dogg pairs with Quik on Black Mercedes, gracefully going back and forth just like Warren G did with Nate with just as much success. AMG and The Game sound good together, mashing with Quik on Get Up, and yes, Chingy actually has a dope 16 on Get Down. Never thought we'd say that. A rapping Wyclef Jean flexes his international bona fides on Ladies and Thugs, while Quik threatens Pac accusers in a way that'll get us demonetized. Remember when T.I. and Tiny got caught with that contraband in a limo in LA? Play Indiscretions in the back of the limo where Tip has 2 verses and tell us the irony doesn't make you chuckle. The best collab here, hands down, has to be the Ludacris assisted Pacific Coast remix, where both of them capture that Cali essence and glide on the track. Do we have long lost brothers here? Anyway, with only 14 tracks running 44 minutes, Trauma is succinct enough to be overbearing and hits all the marks. It eventually hit 6-figure sales numbers and was another win according to critics. Number 2, Rythmalism. If the phrase slept on were in the dictionary, the picture for 1998's Rythmalism cover would have to be included. Usually when we mention rappers that have solid 3-album runs, Quik's name doesn't typically appear. It should though, because from 95 to 2000, it was all swish, no miss. In the wake of the tragic loss of Tupac and B.I.G. and the beginning of a brief lull in West Coast prominence, Quik's 4th album is an ascent artistically while the demand for G-Funk began its descent. Just look at the top-selling rap albums in an absolutely stacked year that was 98. X's is Dark and Hell is Hot, Hove's Volume 2, P's The Last Dawn. Even Doggy Dogg moved down south and dropped The Game Was To Be Sold Not Told on No Limit, and the Beastie Boys resurrected to the top of the charts with Hello Nasty. Quik was like the last man standing, still waving the W while the world was moving on. The album eventually went gold the same year of release, but this would break his 1 million sold streak and be Quik's last to get a plaque. That's bittersweet because this LP should be championed for creating a timeless sound like Lauryn Hill's Miseducation, another 98 classic, while others from then require nostalgia or context to appreciate. You can just turn this album on and let it roll. From the eccentric rock-tinged opener, we glide into the feel-good We Still Party, then bi-coastal boasting on So Many Ways featuring Second to None and the BX's Peter Guns. On TV1's unsung documentary on DJ Quik, the legendary El DeBarge, whose fingerprints are all over this album, tells the story of meeting him at the House of Blues. Their mutual musical respect leads to great records on here, like the second single Hand in Hand, L's Interlude, and Medley 4V, where we finally get a Nate Dogg feature on a Quik album, and Snoop has a show-stealing verse. Longtime collaborators like Playa Ham, High C, Second to None hold it down honorably on several dope records, along with reconciled friend AMG and protege Mossberg. However, it's Pomona Pimp Sugar Free who certainly shuts it down every time he pops up. On the sparse yet funky Down 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 and the synthy jam No Doubt, Sugar Free delivers 16s that are so ostentatious you gotta rewind them. Quik successfully experiments with new skills and subjects on Rythmalism, a double-time flow on the up-tempo moody speed, and unabashed love songs with Whatever You Do and Thinking About You. The album is an about-face from the gangster themes of his earlier work, and that's crystallized best on the first single, Use a Gangster. Over textbook G-Funk production, Quik renounces all things associated with affiliation and remorse for the loss of a foe's life, insisting he's innocent. It's a mature rap and something rarely heard in hip-hop where wavering is seen as a weakness, so it has to be commended. Overall, Rythmalism is a strong contender for the #1 spot because it's pure fun. It's DJ Quik's most wide-ranging album in scope, while it sounds as alive and full as the very best of funk and R&B records from the 70s and 80s, the musical era that Quik draws from the most. However, in the words of Charlemagne the God, we like a little ratchetness with our righteousness, and Rythmalism lacks that certain edge that this next record has. #1, Safe and Sound. There are 4 characteristics to consider when evaluating a diamond. Its weight or carat, color, cut, and clarity. Ask any pro jeweler who pushes pure carbon and they'll tell you that cut is the most important aspect of the 4 C's, because a diamond can be colorful and wonderful, but if it's not cut right, it won't be bright. DJ Quik's skill set makes him a mad scientist musician, someone able to bend and blend different genres into the realm of rap and make it slap. However, his releases up until and somewhat after 95 Safe and Sound don't match the near perfection he reached in carving out the Blue Hope diamond of West Coast G-Funk. From top to bottom, the 3rd LP in Quik's catalog contains all the elements we love about him in equal balance. The crisp Cali beats, tales of coming up in Compton, the terrific talk box, damning disses, lucid lyrics on gang life, and utilizing live instrumentalists with P-Funk pioneers to bridge generational gaps. Executive produced by Suge Knight, nearly every song glimmers in the light, but we'll cite those with the most carats. Get At Me, the thumping first song, has Quik revamping that early 90s sound from his previous releases, while he sends sinister sneak shots at everyone from Friend Turned Foe AMG and House of Pain from Jump Around fame. On the title track and first single, Safe and Sound, Quik pairs a picturesque portrayal of coming of age while dabbing in the dope game with a chorus that evokes religious reflection. Both It's Your Fantasy and The Hoe in You are terrific in their own right, the former being a sensual serenade and the latter being heartfelt hollowing for the hoochies. Of course, we have Dollars and Cents, one of the most scathing diss tracks ever, putting a nail in the coffin of any rivalry that existed with co-Comptonite MC8. Over a beat that would have been a hit had he just breathed on it, Quik's call out that the G ain't even in 8's name burns the same on every play. After that, he spins back around on the bang and let you have it, sending more venom to his nemesis while clarifying that their asinine beef is over a misunderstanding. We get glimpses of introspection on the reminiscent Summer Breeze, while Quik recalls carefree childhoods and the loss of friends to the streets or the clink. The supporting cast of rappers that usually cloud Quik's catalog, those being High C, Duo Second to None, Player Ham, and Cam, are kept to a minimal yet meaningful amount. They come on point to pile on the posse cut Keep the P in It. Meanwhile, DJ Quik samples legend George Clinton's Genius for Something for the Mood and utilizes the great guitarist Gary Scheider for the Hooray for the Funk. The album was Quik's 3rd consecutive RIAA certified album, going gold that same year, now platinum, peaking at number 14 on Billboard 200. On the All the Smoke podcast hosted by Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, DJ Quik himself says that many fans feel that his first is their favorite, but he found his sound on his 3rd, Safe and Sound. On this record, he fully embraces his core, which is funk, jazz, and blues, with high-pitched raps about unadulterated West Coast life. The color is red, there's clarity in the focus, and the cut is near flawless on our #1 pick for DJ Quik. That's it for today's list. Hope you guys enjoyed it. For the millionth time, the E40 and Too Short lists are on the way, we promise. Until then, check out our other videos on West Coast rappers in this playlist here. I'm CJ Williams, signing out for The Culture. Peace.